Oshkosh Today, your connection to events and organizations in the Oshkosh area.
Oshkosh Today highlights the great things that our local organizations are doing in our city. And today we take a look at some really exciting events coming up this month. The Mercy Health Foundation is throwing its second annual Faces of Courage event, which supports Mercy Medical Center's cardiology department. Oshkosh Irish Fest is one of the biggest parties of the year, which highlights the Irish culture through food, music, history, and more. The Winnebago County First Annual Wheelchair Wash is a chance to enjoy food, music, and get a great cleaning of yours or a loved one's wheelchair. Focus on Health shows us all about a medical weight loss program offered at Aurora Medical Center. The Uniquely You Pageant celebrates individuals with special needs and encourages and raises self-esteem, with proceeds going to local nonprofits.
Oshkosh Today. Oshkosh Today is supported in part by the Friends of OCM and Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Oshkosh Today, your source for all of the wonderful local events and organizations right here in the best town ever, Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I'm your host, Emily Springstroh, and we have a loaded show today for you with a lot of great events that are coming up to support some really great organizations. So I'm going to go ahead and first dive into our first segment of the show today. I'd like to welcome Karen Hartz and Courtney Shears, who are both ICU nurses over at Mercy Medical Center. So I'd like to, first of all, welcome both of you ladies for joining us today. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about an event that is coming up, a Mercy Health Foundation event. It's called Faces of Courage. So why don't we kind of just go over the basics of the event, you know, when it is this year and where it is and all that.
Okay. It is June 23rd at the Oshkosh Alumni Center, which is on campus.
It's a second annual event, which
Correct.
is exciting.
Correct.
And what exactly does this event support? You know, what is it for?
The event is going to help support the Mercy Medical Center cardiology department. We're trying to raise funds to provide a second cath lab.
Cath lab. And so for people like me who have no idea what that means, what exactly is a cath lab? What do you do in there?
When you have a heart attack or damage to the heart, when you're having chest pain and you call 911, when you come into the hospital, usually you call the ambulance, they bring you into our emergency room. We try to get the patient in the cardiac cath lab within 60 minutes. And what it is they go in through your groin with a catheter and they look at the arteries in the heart to see where the blockages are.
Wow.
And you have, because the longer you have the blockage, you lose heart muscle. And so it's very important
Yeah.
to get in as soon as possible.
Right, that's what I was going to say. The timing of this all is extremely important, as anyone would know with a heart attack or any heart issue that happens. You got to get taken care of pretty quickly.
Correct.
Yep, you want to open that vessel up to provide oxygen to the heart.
And so that's kind of, you know, what you do in the cath lab, and you've got one cath lab at Mercy Medical, correct?
Correct.
And so the point of this event and the Faces of Courage is to raise awareness of the importance of this cath lab, and then hopefully raise funds to hopefully have another one as well.
Correct.
Yes.
And you tell us the importance of getting someone in there as soon as possible. And so I guess my next question would be, is it risky to only have one?
It is.
It is. Oftentimes, if we have a patient who is in the cath lab, and now we have another patient coming in by ambulance to our ER, we would have to divert the patient to another hospital to ensure that they get quick life-saving the technique done, versus having them be delayed in the ER. They couldn't just stay there. They need help within 60 minutes.
Correct.
And so it's extremely important that that we're supporting this, and we want to make sure that everyone's taken care of, and that you don't have to turn anyone away.
Right.
I think in some of the notes that we were going over, there was the idea of the perfect storm, which is the worst situation that you could have.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's great to learn a little bit more about the background of that. And you both are ICU nurses. And so you have, I'm sure, a lot of experience. Do you have any stories of, success stories of people that have directly benefited from this?
I have a particular story that happened last Valentine's Day with a young patient. And that's where the perfect storm comes from. It was a huge snowstorm that night. Oh. And it was around 7 p.m. and this certain patient started to have what we call a STEMI, or a ST elevation myocardial infarction, a pretty big, significant heart attack. And thank goodness our cath lab was open, because we had to take him in immediately. And our cardiologist had to drive in this huge snowstorm. And he actually this patient had a brain injury, so the neurosurgeon actually had to come in from Appleton to be in the cath lab to assist the cardiologist. So if that cath lab hadn't been open, I don't know if this patient would be with us today. So that's really a story that stuck in my mind. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the patient comes back to visit us.
Yes, he
so
does.
Really?
Yes.
We did a great job.
Wow. And I mean, as nurses, I'm sure we could go on for hours about all of the experiences that you've had. So I guess, well, first of all, thank you so much for what it is that you do. We're so appreciative of that. But I mean, in your own personal view, why is this such an extremely important thing? I can't drive that home. Tell the public why they need to come to this event and help support you.
Well, I would say it's definitely is supporting all of our community. We have a strong mission at Mercy Medical Center. Certainly, we want to be able to provide excellent health care to any patient that walks into our emergency room. And if our cardiac catheterization lab is in use, we would have to send a patient away to a different hospital, which could delay them and cause their heart attack to become worse versus us helping them get better quickly.
Right. Oh, go ahead.
And we now have up to 5 cardiologists, so we have the manpower. We just need the facilities, the rooms,
the equipment, the software, and we need to be able to equip the room.
Right.
Is there anywhere that we can go to learn more about the specifics of this? I know you kind of gave us an easy version to understand, but if we want more specifics on how the cath lab works and that kind of thing, is there an area on the Mercy website maybe?
Yeah, the Mercy Medical Center website. We have a cardiology department space that they could click on to learn more about the cardiologists that are at Mercy.
Excellent. And then, of course, the event itself, Friday, June 23rd at the Oshkosh Alumni Welcome and Conference Center. Yeah. This is to raise funds, and I will get into the details in our next segment. We've actually got 2 segments because we've got a lot to talk about with this topic. But if someone is unable to make it to the event and they still want to support, there's many ways to do that. I'm sure you can just visit the Mercy website or give a
the
call.
Mercy Health Foundation website. There's a way that they can offer donations if they're unable to attend the event. But the event is going to be just excellent with auction items and silent auction items. And our cardiologists are going to be there speaking about the event. And our heart surgeon, Dr. Abuzlam, will be there as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. And I have to say, we actually had a couple of cardiologists that were going to be coming today, but they were on call and they got a little busy.
They were needed.
So we're so thankful that you guys were able to make it. We're just about out of time for our first segment here. So I'm going to thank you both so much for coming today. And again, thank you very much for everything that it is, everything that you guys do. We are so appreciative of it. And best of luck with your event.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So we're going to take a really quick break here to shuffle our guests in and out, and when we come back, we'll talk about some direct stories about the Mercy Medical Health Department. We'll be right back. All right, we are back here in the studio talking about the Mercy Health Foundation's Faces of Courage event. We've shuffled out our guests, and we have a couple of new guests in here today. I would like to introduce Rose Lang and Liz Jansen, here to tell us a little bit more about the event itself and a story about the direct effect that it has had on a family and a life. So thank you, ladies, for joining us, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So I've got Rose and Liz here. Maybe we can talk first about the story of how this cath lab has affected you. So Rose, you have a very touching story to tell us, and I'll just let you take it.
Thank you, Emily. I could go on for hours on this story, but I'll try to make it as short as I can here. May 26, 2016 will be forever embedded in my brain. That night, my husband and I had gone to bed, and I woke up at 12:30 a.m. to find him not breathing at all and no pulse. Immediately went into action, called 911, as we all need to do. The dispatcher on the other end of the phone walked me through doing CPR on my husband until the paramedics got there. They worked what seemed like forever that night on bringing him back to us. They were able to get a pulse and transport him then to Mercy Medical Center. Once we got to Mercy, I found out that they had lost him again in the ambulance on the way and had to bring him back. So the timing to get my husband into the cath lab that night was everything. There was no time to transport him anywhere else. We needed to get him into that cath lab as soon as possible. It seemed like hours and hours later when the doctor came out to meet with myself and the family members, and I'll never forget those words when the cardiologist walked into the room and said, "Your husband had the widowmaker." And had we not been here, he would not have been able to, he wouldn't have made it through the night. So it was an out-of-body experience for myself. It's like, no, who are you talking to? My husband's healthy. Right. He eats well, he's fit, he's active. He's a non-smoker. He has everything going for him. How could this possibly be for you're talking about my husband? So my story really is to get out there and let others know that it can happen to you. It can happen to any one of your loved ones. Mm-hmm. Health disease in general is just growing in leaps and bounds, and not in the good direction, unfortunately. So it's so important for us to get this additional cath lab in the hospital as soon as possible. I know that my husband would not be here today, if I can get through this without crying. My husband would not be here today had it not been available that night. And I'm happy to say he's doing well, he's doing great. Since his event almost a year ago, we have had a third grandchild, our first granddaughter, and my husband and that little grandbaby have quite a bond between the two of them since. So he knows he's one very lucky man to be alive. Yes. So I am so grateful and thankful to that hospital for everything they've done. Amazing. And I just don't want to ever imagine for any family to have to go through what we went through and hear that the cath lab is not free at this moment. We need to transport, because he would not have been able to, he wouldn't have made it if he had to be transported.
Well, thank God.
Yeah.
What an amazing story. And thank you so much, Rose, for sharing that with us. It gives me goosebumps to hear that. And it just goes to show, like you said, the importance of having another cath lab there, because God forbid that something like that would happen, that someone would need to be transported, and there just sometimes is not enough time. So you will be at the event.
Yes.
You'll be speaking and sharing your story in a lot more detail and having a lot more time to share it. And so I guess we can get into more of the details about the event itself. This is a huge event, a huge fundraising event to get that second cath lab. Now, maybe you can tell us a little bit more, Liz. We know the date time, Friday the 23rd of June at the Alumni Welcome Conference Center, but kind of go through the events, or if not the events, but the things that are going to be happening throughout that evening.
Right. It's going to be a wonderful evening. And one of the things that we're doing, we are using our Faces of Courage we've had area artists. We have 30 artists who have shared their talents with us, and they've actually taken frames, and they are creating frames which will have mirrors put into them, and that's why we have the name Faces of Courage, because people who are looking into them will see themselves. So those will be auctioned off. Some of those will be auctioned off as part of the live auction, and there will be some others that will be part of the silent auction. We also will be having a live auction which will include 2 trips. One of the trips is to a golf trip to California to one of the courses on Pebble Beach, and then the other trip is actually going to be a weekend in New York to go to a couple of Broadway shows. So those trips include airfare, they include hotels, they include the tickets or the golf, the carts, the rounds of golf, whatever. And then with the silent auctions will be a number of different baskets, but people will have the opportunity to come in to bid to help us raise that money for the second cath lab, which is so needed for our community. As Rose said, Jim was the epitome of healthiness. So, I mean, you could have seen him the day before and nobody would have guessed that he was going to have a massive heart attack that potentially could have killed him.
That's such a good point to make, is like you think to yourself, well, why would I need to worry about this? This doesn't affect me. That's never going to happen to me. Listen to your story. Like, that is
exactly.
It affects everyone, you know, whether you think it will or not. So sounds like a wonderful evening. And as you're talking about these trips, I'm already like, okay, am I available on this day? Because I really want to go. I'd love to go to New York for these trips. These shows.
If you come, you can bid, or you can have a proxy bid.
Exactly. In addition to that, you're going to have hors d'oeuvres and cocktails, and addition to the silent auction, a lot of other little items and baskets and things that you can have.
We have a jewelry raffle. So Reimer's Jewelry Store has given us a beautiful a necklace that will be raffled off. So that will be another opportunity for individuals to look at purchasing something, and it's in the shape of a heart. So it's, again, it's part of what we're talking about. Mercy's Foundation has been around for 45 years, and we were really fortunate that 45 years ago, Dr. Eric Wilson had the foresight to say, we need to do this. The hospital itself has now been around for over 125 years, serving the community. And between the hospital and the foundation, we really know that we have to make sure that we have funds available to help support special initiatives, special causes, to take care of everybody in our community, whether they are friends, family, loved ones. We are providing the level of care that they need to have.
Yes, and the foundation is such an important part of the support that makes a lot of things happen over at Mercy.
Right.
And so where can we find more information about the foundation, whether we want to donate or if we want to get involved in, volunteer opportunities, that kind of thing?
Sure. All you need to do is go to the foundation website, which is the mmc.gift.org, and if that becomes too difficult to remember, just go to Mercy Health Foundation or Mercy Medical Center, and you're able to find the link to the
donation page.
To the donation page.
Right.
Sorry, thank you very much. And volunteer opportunities exist through our volunteer services. So they're always looking for different volunteers in different areas of the hospital, whether that is to help at the reception desk, whether that's to help transport patients. We have people that work in the library. We have people that provide services on the units as well, too. So there are a multitude of opportunities. So Mercy's really proud of the fact that we've been around for 125 years. It was great being able to celebrate 125 years anniversary about a year ago, and I think it was in September. And the fact is that we're going to be around for another 125 years. Our goal is to continue to take care of the people in our community that we've been serving in that time, and
amazing.
It goes very well.
Well, thank you for all you do as well. It's very important here in Oshkosh and in the Fox Valley area too. So once more, before we close out, date, time, location of the Faces of Courage event.
Friday, June 23rd, UWO Alumni and Conference Center.
Excellent, and you can find more information on the Mercy Medical website or the Foundation's website as well.
Right.
And that is all the great information is there, and I'm sure another little preview of the little items that you might be able to win out there.
Right.
So, well, thank you so much, Rose and Liz, for joining us today. And Rose, especially, thank you so much for sharing your story, and we cannot wait to hear you speak at this event.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Coming up next, we are going to hear all about one of the biggest events in Oshkosh every year, and that is Oshkosh Irish Fest. We'll be right back.
Hey girl, where to?
A meeting with my biggest customer.
Like that.
Like what?
Your hair's on point, makeup not so much.
Are you for real?
That lip color totally washes you out.
I'm not wearing any.
Exactly.
Seriously? While driving?
You should drive more carefully.
Focus on driving, not the distractor.
Sometimes I distract myself.
Holding a phone takes precious attention away from the road. That's why handheld cell phone use is now illegal in Wisconsin work zones, and fines start at $40. Driving deserves your undivided attention. It's about safety for workers and for all motorists. So when you see orange cones, please put down the phone. The Wisconsin DOT urges you to help us achieve 0 deaths on Wisconsin roads.
Hello, and thanks again for joining us on Oshkosh today. We are back with our a local celebrity, I guess you could say. It's Nicole Peterson here to tell us all about the Oshkosh Irish Fest. So without further ado, welcome Nicole, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you. This is a really cool event, and I'm really excited to share all the details about it with you. It's going to be great.
Yes, everyone looks forward to Irish Fest so much every year, and it seems to get bigger and bigger every year too. So first off, why don't you just tell us the date and time when it's going to be taking place this year?
So it's June 10th, and it's that's Saturday, which is great. It starts at 11:30. The doors will open, but really the music and everything else will kind of get started at noon. The music will be kind of the thing that kicks it off right at the amphitheater, right downtown. And the nice thing about it is, everybody thinks about Irish in March, but now we just kind of get to spread it out through the rest of the year, and there's lots of amazing things. And it's really a very family-friendly event. And it's one day just like all in, spend the day there and have a blast.
Excellent. And it's a packed day. You've got a lot going on in
There's
that
a lot
day.
to do. There's a lot to do.
Why don't you walk us through a little bit what we can expect? It starts, what'd you say, 10 a.m.?
11:30, and then everything officially kicks off, music at noon.
Got it.
So the first band, Folk and Irish, and then if you've never seen Richard School of Dance, of course, they're so sweet and cute. And they have the cutest little hair that bounces, and they're just so darling. Jeff Ward, he's toured a lot in England and Scotland, lives in Milwaukee. Patty Grass with Derek Byrne. He is a musician and was with Riverdance for 7 years. So there's a lot of Irish actual connections that have come to Oshkosh, and there's people that keep coming back year after year because it's such a great event. Curly, Connolly, and Broderick, you might not recognize those three names, but they're all from Ireland, and they've never played together, so this is like going to be the first time. They've kind of played separately in like twos and twos, so now they're going to do a sort of reunion tour. It's going to be amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Wild Colonial Boys from St. Paul, and then at 9 o'clock, the Elders, they're kind of the main stage. They're from Kansas City. They're originally from Ireland. They've been around for 19 years, and don't let the name Elders fool you. They are rockin', and their performance it's just out of this world. You're gonna love it.
Oh my gosh. So that was just the entertainment.
Just entertainment. So now
amazing.
you've got family and kids. There's a little leprechaun land with like rides and games and things for the kids to do during the day. Maybe you don't want the kids there at 9 o'clock. That's like adult time. But during the day, it'll be really fun. There'll be a lot of things for them to do, storytelling, and there'll be some Irish culture and heritage so you can get an idea of their heritage and things. There's a lot of people that have an Irish heritage. And if you don't, who cares?
Yeah, everybody's Irish on
You're
Irish
still
Fest.
welcome. You're still welcome. Shopping, always very fun. So they bring in some vendors that have all of, authentic Irish from Ireland people that sell their wares. So that's always entertaining and fun with bags of stuff that I don't need. Yes.
All of the wonderful Irish history and Irish culture. Food, a lot of great Irish food too, right?
Okay, so really the things that you're looking for are the basics. They're going to have Irish stew and bangers and then all of the beer. I think I even have the list of beers. Oh, fish and chips.
Oh, that's
Cannot
a key
forget
one,
fish and chips.
yes.
Harps, Middix, Guinness, Cider Boys is going to be there. There's going to be a lot of opportunities. And if you're one of those that can't drink a fancy Irish beer, don't worry. There will be something for
staples.
you. We will take care of you. And there's, there'll be food-friendly for the kids.
Yes.
So, burgers and brats and hot dogs and that kind of thing. So,
excellent. And now,
something for everyone.
Yes, and I know that's always the first thing I have to ask about is the food and drinks. But
yes.
In addition, Irish Fest, I always look forward to the Irish Wolfhounds. Will they be there again this year?
They will be there. We're going to be roaming around all day.
Awesome.
There's going to be the Fox River Hurling Club, which they're kind of the ones that originated ice hockey. So, and you can get a chance, you can go in the cage and throw it and do it and probably realize how untalented you are. It'll be totally fine. There is a pot of gold raffles. So they're giving away some Packer things, overnight stay at St. Brendan's, which is in Green Bay, and some metal Irish Celtic design kind of things. And it's just some really cool things, some really cool opportunities. And then we are going to get a little exercise.
Yes.
And I say a little exercise, I literally mean little exercise.
All right.
So if you ever run a marathon or a half marathon, 5K, don't even have to do that. 0.317.
Oh, that's doable.
Yes.
That's a walk around the neighborhood.
So that is the Irish marathon. It's a
Irish
fun run. It's silly. You know how people put like 26.0 and 13.1 or whatever on their bumper sticker? You're going to get a bumper sticker for running that says 0.317.
That's amazing.
Yes. And we are guaranteed that everyone is going to do it. You'll get an Olympic-style medal. It's just silly and fun, and you get a beer in the process.
Anyone can do it.
Anybody can do it.
But if you're into more of the heavy duty stuff, there will be an opportunity for that as well.
Heavy duty running?
Yeah.
No. We are literally just fun running.
That is so.
You don't even need to worry about it.
So can you bring your beer with you or anything?
Yes, it's probably encouraged. If you're
my
walking
gosh.
around without one, it would be very
That
embarrassing.
is so cool.
OshkoshIrishFest.com. Of course, you can go get more information. And the thing that's cool this year is they're doing free admission until 6.
Okay.
So come down, bring your family, spend the day, enjoy it. There's just a lot of work that goes into it, and there's a lot of people that keep coming back because Oshkosh does such a nice job, and the people are just so appreciative. So it's great.
And I was going to say, Oshkosh Irish Fest, it's such a great community event, and that's something to be said about the city of Oshkosh, is that the community really all comes together. It's like everybody knows each other, and if you don't, then come to one of these events. You're going to meet everybody.
And they're going to
it's
raise
such a
the money.
welcoming. Yes,
so
exactly.
when you raise money, they're going to raise it for the Knights of Columbus, which is a great organization. They do really great things in town. So there'll be some money that'll go back into the community, and it all comes from you coming down and eating and drinking and talking smart. It's really that simple.
So recap for us once more, date, time, location, and where we can find more information.
June 10th, the amphitheater. Doors open at 11:30. Everything really kicks off at noon. OshkoshIrishFest.com, and check it out, and we hope to see you. It's going to be rain or shine. It doesn't matter. It's an amazing day.
Excellent.
And everybody can be Irish on June
Yay,
10th.
we can't wait.
Yeah,
Thank you so much,
you're
Nicole, for
welcome.
coming in and telling
Thank
us
you.
all about it. We're going to take a quick break here on Oshkosh Today, and we are also going to debut our new heavy metal series here on Life TV. So get an up-close and personal look at one of the big heavy rescue vehicles of the Oshkosh Fire Department. And then when we return, we're going to chat about an upcoming wheelchair wash that is being put on by the Winnebago County. We'll be right back.
What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you
and for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
I mean, it's 3 little words, but it's such a big deal, you know?
You want my 2 cents?
Oh, heck yes.
I say you swallow your pride and just be honest with her.
You got those 2 cents?
My name is Pete Fahrenkrug. I'm a lieutenant with the Oshkosh Fire Department. We're at Whitman Regional Airport Aircraft Rescue Firefighting Station. This is an Oshkosh Stryker 1500 aircraft firefighting vehicle. The primary purpose of the vehicle is for aircraft rescue firefighting on an airport. The truck costs approximately about $800,000 depending on the types of attachments and equipment you have on it. Its length is about 35 feet long. It's a little bit over 11 feet tall. The truck weighs approximately 53,000 pounds fully loaded. The vehicle carries about 1,500 gallons of water, 210 gallons of foam, and 550 pounds of dry chemical agent. The truck has 2 nozzles on it. It has a rooftop turret and a bumper turret. Both nozzles are capable of 750 gallons a minute of water or foam coming out of them. The bumper turret is able to be moved into a lower attack position for special aircraft situations. The bumper turret also is capable of expelling foam along with the dry chemical agent through the nozzle at the same time. This facilitates getting the dry chemical agent a little bit further than what it normally would be able to be going. The vehicle carries 2 occupants during an emergency, the driver and the operator. They're both capable of operating a turret or the bumper nozzles. The firefighter will deploy from the vehicle and operate the hand lines and the need for hand lines. The main difference between this kind of a fire truck and a normal fire truck is the fact that it can squirt water from both of its turrets. It doesn't carry much hose, and it carries a lot more water in addition to a great amount of foam and dry chemical agent. The truck is capable of pumping and actually driving. It has some under-truck nozzles that protect the occupant and the vehicle when it's rolling over flames and debris. Foam or water is capable of coming out of those nozzles. The vehicle is used numerous times during the year. It gets a fair amount of use during the Experimental Aircraft Association's annual fly-in. However, we've used it numerous times since we've had the vehicle in the last 5 years.
When it comes to snacks, small changes can add up to big wins. Do you normally snack on this? Make a switch. Do this one time and save over 200 milligrams of sodium. Do this 3 times a week for a year and save over 30,000 milligrams. Or is this more like your snack of choice? Why not try this? Do this one time and save 15 grams of saturated fat. Do this once a week for a year and save 780 grams. Small changes can really add up. Share your wins using hashtag #MyPlateMyWins.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Thanks again for joining us. Now we are going to be talking about the Winnebago County Wheelchair Wash event, and I'd like to introduce our guests Beth Culp and Michael Conley Kuhagen. So welcome, first of all, both of you, and thank you for joining us on Oshkosh Today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So this is first annual event, I believe, and before we get into the details, why don't we just talk about when it is and where it is. So Michael?
Okay. It's Saturday, June 17th, 2017. At the Winnebago County Human Services Building.
Okay, and so it's a wheelchair wash, which is pretty self-explanatory as far as what the event will consist of, but kind of give us an overview of what's going to be going on that day. It's not just a wash, there's other things that are happening. So to the person that's coming, what can they expect?
There'll be entertainment there, food there, other vendors, am I correct? Okay.
Great. And as far as the wheelchair washing part of it, we will actually have people leave their chair, and we're going to take the chairs apart and clean the entire chair, and then have it inspected before it's before they get back in it. So while they're waiting for in a different chair to have their chair washed, like Michael said, there'll be music and food, door prizes. So yeah,
a wide variety of stuff to do
Correct.
while you're waiting for your wheelchair to be washed. And you know, this is kind of funny, but when I think of, it's a wheelchair wash, you think of like a Boy Scout car wash at the grocery store or something like that. It's not like that. They're not just going to hose it down and give it back to you or anything.
No.
Correct.
And the inspection part is really neat because I think not a lot of people realize the importance of that. And you know, as far as safety goes, it's a great opportunity to get that done. You do encourage people to register.
Yes.
Unless, you can walk in too, but I think there was a little more of a wait.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay. Music. Who's going to be providing the entertainment that day, or do we not? Is it kind of under wraps for now?
It's a person who does acoustic music. His name is Neil. I'm not from this area, but
okay.
It's not Neil Young.
Oh, unfortunately not.
No.
And so, Michael, you obviously are in a wheelchair. Tell us the importance of an event like this. That there isn't anything really like this around here.
No, it's very helpful in terms of, again, just maintenance. You know, in terms of keeping your chair up. I mean, it's actually part of you as a person. So you want to try to keep it as clean as possible. Sometimes, in the environment that we live in and the weather that we have, sometimes it's not always easy, but it's nice to have the option of coming in and just having it done.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's hard to find those kind of options.
Definitely. And the event is put on by the Aging and Disability Resource Center, Covey Lutheran Social Services, New Motion, Winnebago County Public Health, and Options for Independent Living.
Correct.
So a great collaboration between a lot of people. Beth, you are a part of the Aging and Disability Resource Center. Tell us a little bit about what that organization does.
We work with people age 18 and older who are looking for any kind of resources, information about long-term support, whether you have maybe a developmental disability, a physical disability, our entire aging population. We provide benefits counseling, options counseling. Most of the calls that we get, though, are people just looking for information, and we're happy to provide that.
Definitely. And Michael, you're part of the committee. Tell us what your role is in that aspect.
I represent the persons with disabilities on the committee, and I kind of just sit and provide feedback to the board and also accept feedback from them in terms of just different things that are happening within the county and so on and so forth, just to keep myself abreast and others abreast of what's happening.
Definitely. And so you've been planning this event for a little while now. It's the same day as the farmers market, which is great because you can just pop on down after the farmers market or during, I guess, and kind of make a day out of it. And it's also a great opportunity to kind of raise awareness and understanding of the Aging and Disability Resource Center and all these other organizations here in Oshkosh. So why is it important that people are coming to this event, not only to get their wheelchair washed and inspected, but also to just kind of learn a little bit more and kind of network a little bit?
As you said, it is just 2 blocks east of the farmers market, so easy to get to. The actual office will not be open that day, but we will have information and you will be able to talk to someone about the ADRC and what we do, get brochures, get information from those agencies. I don't want to take the line from the Oshkosh Police Department, but we want people to know us before they need us. So it's really important that people find out about who they can contact such that a situation comes up and they can reach out at that point. But again, ahead of time, let us know what your situation is and how we might be able to provide assistance or information.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing. Not a lot of people even realize that the resource is there,
Correct.
And so
that is correct.
that's another thing, is getting the word out. People got to be more aware of it, and even if you are not someone who needs the resource center personally, you might have a loved one or someone that can definitely benefit from that. So we're wanting to kind of spread the word a little bit too.
Absolutely.
Anything else that you guys are working on right now outside of the wheelchair wash? Any specific things that you've been talking about at your committee meetings lately?
We have our first respite opportunity for people with memory issues that's provided at St. Paul's Church up in Neenah. And that was, again, a collaborative effort with many other agencies. And you can find out more about that through, you could just stop into the Neenah Menasha YMCA and find out more about that. Had our first caregiver conference, which was free for all caregivers, because that's really been a primary part of the ADRC's focus lately, is how to support caregivers through these respite opportunities. And it's hard to, like you said, get the wheelchair clean when everything else you got to do. So we're trying to do a lot of support for caregivers. So as you said, whether you yourself have a need, you might know someone or be caring for someone who has some needs.
Definitely. Well, once more, if we can just recap the date and time of the wheelchair wash when we can mark our calendars.
It's, again, June 17th, Saturday, 2017.
Goes from 9, I think?
9 to 1.
9 to 1. So it's right during the farmers market. It's located at 220 Washington Avenue, Winnebago County Human Services Department. So it's definitely encourage people to come on out. Any volunteer opportunities, I should ask, for the resource center?
Yeah, there are plenty of opportunities, including for that day.
Yeah.
And you can just call the ADRC and ask for information about volunteer opportunities or for that day too. You can also do that through calling the number that's on the brochure.
Perfect. And is there a website anywhere we can get more information?
On the Winnebago County website, there is an Aging and Disability Resource area to click on, And when you're on the Aging and Disability Resource Center aspect of the Winnebago County site, you can click off to the left where it says events and activities.
So it's all there. You just got to
is.
search for it on the Winnebago County website. And worst case scenario, just Google it, right?
Correct, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for joining us, telling us about this really cool event. I hope to have you in again next year and make this an annual thing, or even
We hope so too.
more than that.
So.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a quick break here, and we're going to go ahead focus on health with our friends at Aurora Medical Center. This segment focuses specifically on weight loss programs. Let's take a look.
This Focus on Health segment is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Health. We're outside the Aurora Medical Center in Oshkosh today. We've taken some time to walk on this beautiful walking path that wraps around the hospital. It's nearly a mile long and it's open to the public. Hi everyone, I'm Ted Stefaniak. Glad you could be with us today. We're burning some calories on this path, and that's really the subject of today's topic here on Focus on Health. We're going to be talking with Dr. John Newman. He's in charge of a medical weight loss program here. It's a little bit different, so if you're looking for a little motivation and something a little different to help you lose some weight, this might be the program for you. Well, thanks for taking some time with us on a beautiful day here, and you know, being out around a walking path kind of gets you in the mood to get out and walk some steps and lose some weight. And you've got a brand new program here. Tell us a little bit about the name of the program and what it's for.
Well, thanks for the invite, and you're exactly right. When you look at a walking path, you know, that's kind of the walkway, the activities, kind of the pathway to living well. Well, we've started a medical weight loss kind of program here, and it's all part of Aurora's commitment to living well. And when we really look at what are the things we need to focus in, and it's not just Aurora, it's all the health systems, obesity is one of the things that we just can't focus enough on. So our medical weight loss program is like everything else we do. We play to people's passions and play to their strengths. And so we've kind of harnessed a team with, and I'm fortunate to be on the team as a bariatric surgeon, but also as somebody who's spent my life dedicated to helping people fight obesity. And Michelle Medvich is our nurse practitioner that helps us run the program for the medical weight loss program. And as we work together, obviously the primary care team has been working on this forever with them, but they have asked help. They said, we would like to have some assistance for our patients that, especially not just for medical weight loss, but also for the diseases that are co-located with obesity, like diabetes, hypertension, and even cancer. So any efforts we do to help people control their weight are just going to pay off fold in improving their health.
So what's new about this program? How is this program going to help where other programs may have failed for people?
Well, I tell you what, I think that, you know, when you look at the numbers, the Jenny Craig, the Nutrisystems, the Weight Watchers, all efforts, you know, they don't have great numbers. And probably the only thing that's given the longest term solution for weight loss is surgical weight loss. But I will tell you that when people come to talk to us, that most of them are just not interested in surgical weight loss, but are very much interested in what can I do with them. And so what's different about it is the passion of the providers, with Michelle and myself just setting the relationship up. And so you probably the bigger question is, does it work, and why does it work? And so we're very proud to say it's working, that we're very proud with kind of the weight loss that our patients are achieving. But the reason it's working is because we've just now augmented what the primary care team has already been doing, augmented what all the other activities that people do in life to lose weight, and just bring it into the medical weight loss center and say, all right, let's focus a little bit. And it's based on education. Everything we do is education. When we look at, well, what can I do to get smart on weight loss? I mean, probably the most important thing is, do you know what kind of activity you're doing? You know, when you go on a walking path like this, that as we sit outside Aurora, Oshkosh, with it's about a mile-long path, but that's about 4,000 steps when you break it in there. But you got to put your activity in congruence, and you also got to say, what am I eating? And so probably one of the biggest parts of this program that we feel like we make a difference is we just kind of relate with the patient, and they commit to keeping a food journal, and they commit to saying, I'm going to write down everything that I eat. And so every time that we see them in follow-up, we're talking about, here's what you're eating. And so often it was like, I thought that was healthy. And really sitting down and having the conversation, and it's like, well, we're not saying it's unhealthy. We're just saying that if the objective here is to burn fat, then certain things we need to not be eating. And we say this time and time again. We talk about processed foods and simple sugars and sweet drinks and beer. I mean, we're in Wisconsin, but I can't swing a dead cat with somebody handing me a spotted cow, and it's like, this is great. But I tell you what, we got to do it in moderation. But more importantly, we just have to know how much carbohydrates we're actually ingesting.
So obviously it takes a lot of work, and a lot of times people aren't so interested in writing a journal, but that's a very important part of it. How much does exercise come into play as well?
Well, I'm not going to let you off the hook on the writing the journal, because when we look at our patients who actually write in their journals and the ones that don't, as far as their food logs, the ones that actually keep the food log lose twice as much weight. But if you don't write down in the food journal, quite honestly, you just don't know what you're eating, But the activity is huge. And so when you talk about the activities, what you're trying to do is an activity that helps you burn fat. So if you and I were to sprint, that requires sugar. So for sprinting, yeah, we got to look to our bodies and our livers and our muscles for the sugar. But if you and I just walk, or actually better yet, if we walked where we're in a brisk walk where we're just almost winded talking to each other, that's perfect. When you're not jarring the body, you're not hurting yourself, but you've entered that aerobic phase that your body's going to start seeking out, how can I burn some fat to give you the energy to finish this exercise.
We've only got about a minute left. Who are the people that should be seeking help for weight loss? I always try to lose a few pounds, and I think if I were to get checked out right now, I would probably be considered obese. I don't feel obese, but I think from a medical standpoint, I would be classified as obese.
When people ask me and they say, hey, these numbers are a little strict here. With body mass index is a very standardized number we run off of. If you pull out your smartphone or computer and say, what is my body mass index? It's a height to weight calculation. And again, I'm not too heavy, I'm just not tall enough. But the calculation,
so you just need to grow a few more inches.
Yeah, but since we're not getting taller once we get to our age, and really that body mass index 30 and more, once you get above 30, then that's a definition of obese. And it's not a definition based on anything other than when we look at the graph, that's where people start having medical problems from their weight. When they get to be morbidly obese at 40, that's when people start dying because of their weight.
Okay, so you should be always working with your primary care provider to see where you're at with your weight and various tests, but can they check with you right away then, or do we need to see our primary care provider before we come see
Everything we do in conjunction with the primary care team, but I tell you what, coming to kind of Aurora Medical Weight Loss, you can come see Michelle Medvich, you can come see myself. With predominantly I work on the surgery side, but like I was saying, half the patients that I get, they say, I'm not interested in surgery, let's talk about medical weight loss.
Takes some work though, doesn't it?
But it's the rest of our life work. So it's not something I'm going to give you a month's effort. This is the education and the discipline we need to generate for the rest of our lives, because it ain't getting any easier, folks.
No, and that's reality of it. Hey, we appreciate you taking some time with us today.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
Now, hopefully you're checking in with your primary care provider at least once a year and you have an idea of what's happening with your weight situation. If you have some questions or you're just looking for a little more motivation in weight loss, be sure to give Dr. Newman a call at 303-8700. I'm Ted Stefaniak, and we'll see you next time on Focus on Health.
This Focus on Health segment has been brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today. Thanks again for joining us. Now we are joined by our friends Haley Herbst and Ed Castern to talk about a really cool pageant coming up. It's called the Uniquely You Pageant. So first of all, welcome to Haley and Ed. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. And Ed, I have to give you a little bit of flack here. You are one of our very valuable volunteers here at Oshkosh Media, and is this the first time that you're in front of the camera instead of behind?
For here, yes.
Yes? Awesome.
It feels weird. It feels weird. I'm used to working, so.
Yes, well, maybe you can be a guest host sometime here on Oshkosh Today. So we're here to talk about Uniquely You Pageant. Ed, you're very involved in it. Haley, you're the founder of the Uniquely You Pageant. So I guess first I can ask you, what exactly is Uniquely You?
Uniquely You is a pageant that just raises self-confidence and helps those who have special needs so that they can go out and do what they've always dreamed of doing.
Definitely. And you started Uniquely You. So why exactly, what was the inspiration behind starting it?
So I have 2 special needs brothers that come home, and if they were to get bullied, it would make me sad seeing them that way. So that's one of the reasons why I created Uniquely You. But I compete in this pageant called National American Miss, and it wasn't until I made it to nationals that I actually discovered the idea that I can actually create something of my own to make a difference in other people's lives.
And it's amazing. And it's been going on for a little while now, or is this the second annual? How long has this been around?
This is the second annual.
Annual. So it's so exciting. You've been through it once before, and now we're prepping for the next one. Ed, you are involved in the Uniquely You pageant. Tell us about how Uniquely You has impacted your life.
Just the fact that well, first of all, I have to mention, if it wasn't for my walking, I never probably would have done this avenue, because the walking has, as I told you before, the walking has made my legs so much stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how many days now?
907.
Amazing. Congratulations.
And the fact that that day I was out there,
mm-hmm.
that was the first competition I ever did my walker, and I know Haley and Michelle were very proud of me for doing that too. And it just brought me to tears, and I'm gonna try to hold back them now. So.
Wow, that is amazing. So the experience overall was
it's an experience of a lifetime. You don't really know the power of pageantry until you get out there and do it, and it brings you with so much confidence. I can't tell you, I can't describe it to you.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you in it this year, because you're going to be participating this year.
Yes, I am.
Amazing. So you're counting down the days, I'm sure, prepping and getting ready.
Yep.
Wonderful. So Haley, who can all come and participate in the Uniquely You pageant? I know Ed is not the only person that is a participant in the pageant.
Yes, so anyone 4 and older can participate if they have special needs. Boys and girls can. So.
Excellent. So a wide variety of participants.
Yep.
Where's it going to be and when? I haven't asked you that one yet. So when can we mark our calendars?
Last year it was in Fond du Lac, but this year we decided to actually do it at my high school, Oshkosh North High School. It will be in the auditorium. You just go to the west entrance and enter door 7, and then it's right there. It will be July 22nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Perfect. And we can get tickets, or can you just kind of come, or how do you plan your trip to get out there?
For contestants, it's free to get in. If you are coming to watch, it's $5 for students and $7 for adults.
Excellent. And then I've got to ask you, of course, Uniquely You, you're a nonprofit, and it's kind of a fundraiser. So the whole point of it is to, I guess, kind of share the wealth around other nonprofits, correct?
Yep.
Very cool. So Ed, you are competing again in this year's pageant. So I guess, what is it that you're looking forward to this year about the pageant?
Meeting all the wonderful contestants and I like the pageant because you're not judged for that day, because we're all on the same level, even though we have a disability. I don't look at it that we're all physically challenged, and we're all on the same playing field. It's just so nice not to be judged for at least one day, because society likes to judge us a lot. So I just thank Haley for creating something where we can't be judged.
Yes, it's wonderful. And there are different parts of pageant, as in most others. So there's, questions and talent and things like that. Ed, are you gonna give us a little preview of what your talent is this year?
Okay, I guess I can give you a little spoiler. I am actually gonna do some rhythm gymnastics. Use some of my rhythm gymnastics equipment.
Oh my gosh!
Because I started gymnastics as a sport this year for Special Olympics, and so I'm going to do some of those routines.
Ooh. What song are you doing it to?
The Climb.
Why did you pick that song?
Because it's one of my favorites. It's one of your favorites too.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And it'll follow my journey. So. Because by that time I'll be like close to 1,000 days.
Yep. Wow.
So.
That's so cool. Congratulations on all of your hard work, Ed. It's just amazing to see all of the progress that you made. Even the last year, it was over 900 days walking. That's just amazing. So congratulations on that, and great job. So I guess, where can we find more information about Uniquely You, and if we want to volunteer, or if there's any kind of support that we want to give you?
If you want to volunteer, compete, or come to support, you can always either visit our Facebook page, Uniquely You Pageant, or you can visit our website, www.uypageants.weebly.com.
Excellent. So I have to ask you, what is it like planning a pageant? I mean, this is a big deal. And how old are you? Only 16 now?
17.
17?
But I was 15 when I started, like, processing all of what was going to be happening, so.
That's amazing. So how has it been, you know, starting from nothing, and now you have this wonderful, amazing pageant?
Yeah, it's been busy, but seeing how I've changed others' lives, such as Ed, it keeps me on my toes in a good way, so.
For sure. Any plans in the future on additional, you know, updates not only to the pageant or any goals for you?
Well, I've already had, like, people ask me if we could expand out to the U.S. Already last year, our first year, they asked me, if you're looking for anyone to expand, we'll take it. And I was just thinking, it's only our first year, oh my gosh. So that's one of the goals for the pageant, is to try and expand. But as for myself, just continue focusing on school. I'm graduating early, so I have to keep my grades up and all of that, so.
That's crazy. I mean, congratulations to you too, because I have to say that's extremely impressive that you are such an accomplished young woman, and to create something as unique as this is really a cool thing. So we got to give you props for that. Ed, any other preparations that you're doing for the pageant this year? I know you gave us a little preview of your talent, but anything else that you're looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to the pageant, meeting the people, meeting the contestants, making new friends, and I'm just looking forward to staying healthy and getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because I'm actually, I didn't tell you, I'm actually training to do golf on my walker this year, so I'm going to hopefully do the golf competition for Special Olympics too. So I've really come a long ways, you know. It's
totally. Wow, so cool. And you are so involved in Special Olympics as well. And I have to encourage people to follow your journey on Facebook as well, because you're always giving all these really cool updates on what you're up to and different milestones that you're reaching. It's very cool.
I'm not done yet.
Not even close.
Have a long ways to go.
Yes.
It's all about making a difference and inspiring others and changing the world.
Wonderful. Well, Ed, you are an inspiration. We love having you here. And again, we appreciate your volunteer work that you do here at Oshkosh Media. So thank you for that.
I love helping you guys out. So.
And maybe, like I said, there's always an opportunity for a little guest appearance for a host here on Oshkosh Today. And you can interview the guests too.
Well, let me know when you're sick and maybe we can talk.
Yes, for sure. So Haley, once more, why don't you give us a recap of the Uniquely You pageant, date, time, location?
It will just be at Oshkosh North High School. Enter door 7 and $5 for students, $7 for adults on July 22nd.
Wonderful. Well, Haley and Ed, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I also have this t-shirt that I made myself.
Oh my gosh.
It says Uniquely You on the front, and then what we have for our cover photo on Facebook.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And it even has glitter, my favorite.
Mine too.
Oh, thank you guys so much again for joining you. Best of luck in your final preparations for the pageant.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon. So that is going to do it for this episode of Oshkosh Today. Make sure you tune into Life TV for all of your community programming. You can also search for Oshkosh Media on Facebook or YouTube for exciting news and updates, as well as videos of your favorite programs. Make sure you follow at City of Oshkosh on Twitter to receive down-to-the-minute updates about what's going on in your city. And you can also listen to Oshkosh Today and other programs on the radio at 101.9 Oshkosh FM, which is also streaming online and on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. Of course, for more information about Oshkosh Media, programming schedules, and video on demand, visit our website at oshkoshmedia.org. And as always, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me at espringstro@ci.oshkosh.wi.us. So once again, thank you so much for joining us on Oshkosh Today, and we'll see you next time.
Oshkosh Today was supported in part by the Friends of OCM. And Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard. Oshkosh Today.